pepper. The whole of the world was using that before this like discovery of America. When the Americas were discovered, they found the chili. So because the English and all these guys don't know how to cook. At least my relations, they don't know how to cook. So that was like very important because it gave a lot of taste. It gave a strong taste to the food. But once they found the chili, this then got lost its value. The references to this, you should check it out, Pipalongam. You will be so surprised. It's like, especially for Indians, you know, you read that feeling of, wow, that's my culture. You really be touched at how deep and amazing this is. Look where it's growing. It's growing underneath a tree in full shade. You put tomatoes here, they won't really make it. You put anything else here, it won't really make it. Maybe a creeper, it will go out. But this is doing very well under a shade. That's one of its other values here.
Pipalongam.
Imagine that you know, this again, how you grow it. You just can take where you have nodules on plants like this. Basically, a stem can come from a nodule or a root can come. So you cut it, you put it in the ground. You can make cuttings very easily. Imagine like a few of us. We say, okay, let's make 300-400 nodule cuttings. After a couple of months, we go around the whole of Auroville and we find little places to put it here and there. We're like, wow, we've brought people to the whole community. Everyone has people in their garden. So what? They won't use it because they don't know. That's the job we're faced in Solitude. How do you get the people to use the chicken spinach? How do you get the people to recognize, you know, we're breaking our back at times to bring this to people, making festivals with music and cooking workshops and permaculture workshops for free, for you know, for offering for people and trying to get, but we're in such a paradigm of our own economic sort of growth and a lot of concepts we have, you know, like vegetarianism. Then veganism, you know. You can be vegan and you can be eating quinoa. And if you eat quinoa, you're screwing a culture in Peru because the farmers can't grow it anymore. They can't afford it anymore to eat it because the price of quinoa has gone up 4 times. So what? Veganism is a concept. I'm sorry, it's a concept. Maybe there's a deep feeling of someone to be compassionate to not eat animals. I'm in that sort of direction. However, when we're in the conceptual level, we see what we want to see. There's 100 things we don't see what we're destroying, you know. What's more important is local food. Because local food honors this earth. Local food honors our community. Local food is always lifting up the collective well-being of everyone. That's the question that we're faced with. How do you get people to wake up to this subject? As the basis of any civilization, you know. I mean, I can keep repeating the same words. You're sort of like, how? You know, I really don't know. I really don't know. We run a basket service. It's pretty cheap, our basket service. It's accessible. If you join the basket service, you can have a lunch. You get a reduction. You get a cooking workshop for free. You know, there's different activities. You're sort of in connection with the community. You know, the solar kitchen, they're still buying potatoes when they could be having tapioca. It's a paradigm we're involved with. It's not to blame anyone. I have no critique on any personal level to anybody because that's meaningless. It's like, you know, there's a friend of mine, he teaches ATB, awareness through the body, Amir. And, you know, I'm sure that he believes if everyone did awareness through the body, it's like to bring a lot of consciousness to your physical being. I'm sure if everyone did it, there would be a change in the consciousness in Auroville. So I don't do that. So, you know, like that, he can't blame me, but it's like that. We're dealing with a paradigm, a shift in paradigm that we need to understand, and that includes economic paradigm. So now we're starting to explore like gift economy. Like we haven't started it yet, but we although we're not too far from it actually, just in many of the ways we're functioning already, but gift economy possibly would mean that you know, people understand what it means to run this project, like the wages and the repair of the windmill and the, you know, the roof of the house and the this and the that. They got a picture of that, and then they know that, and then they can give what they want. You know, maybe someone doesn't have money, but they say, okay, I'll do the accounts for the CSA project, or I'll help with this, or God knows. It's like you don't know. It's a jump off a cliff. You don't know how it will run. But I believe that people, mostly people coming to Auroville, there's a lot of different levels of awareness in people's minds here. But I believe that economics is paradigm that we're all, it's an economic sort of social economic architecture that we're constricted within. So I believe if we break that, maybe in certain things there's a release of energy. And that release of energy may inspire people to sort of get involved in these things and think like, okay, Peoply, what would that mean? It would mean, let's make a poster about Peoply. Let's take it to all the schools and do a presentation. Let's take it to every community and get it out there. Let's have the seedlings ready. Let's have a Peoply day in every restaurant. Let's, and the same for the green papaya. It means we need a lot of effort. We've come so far away, a proportionate effort is going to be needed to come back. And that needs creativity and a lot of love. It's not, this is not for anyone's personal gain. This will be a lot of love is needed to make this happen. And that's where the celebration comes in, which I think is a very important subject. Like there's a video that I watched and a book I read much before called The Secret Life of Plants. So in this video they show, they take a plant and they put the electrodes on the leaves, just 2 gentle electrodes, and it goes to a polygraph machine. So Chandra Bose, our great Bengali scientist, he showed that every plant and even inanimate objects, they emit a pulse. So the polygraph is showing like a pulse. Maybe, I don't know what word to call that, maybe it's consciousness, I don't know what it is, but there's a pulse of life, something is there. Then in another, that's being filmed in one room, and then in another room there's a little timer with some shrimps, with some small fish in a timer. After a few minutes, the shrimps, they get tipped into a little bowl of boiling water, so they die. So that's filmed separately. No one is there. It's a completely separate experiment. When the shrimps hit the boiling water and they die, of course, the polygraph goes berserk. So the plant is conscious of the death of the shrimps. It's quite amazing. There's another experiment that they show where the Russians are doing it. Those Russians are very, very crazy people. They're in their white lab coats, and they have, instead of a polygraph machine, they have a microphone, I think, connected to a cathode ray oscilloscope. So somehow the physics of it is that instead of a visual signal, you get an audio signal from the plant. So the plant is going wing. And then next to that, there's a plant with nothing attached to it. So the scientists, they file by, there's like 7 or 8 of them, and they look at each plant. And then by the 5th or 6th scientist, they look at the one with the polygraph thing and the electrodes, and the one without it. And then the guy suddenly rips to shreds the plant like he was like a psychopath, The plant starts, the one next to it goes, wee! He's going crazy. What's really interesting is then after 5 minutes they all file back. When the murderer passes by the one with the electrodes, it recognizes the murderer. It goes wee again. That much mystery is there in the nature. That much mystery must be connected with us as well. We can't be separate from that. Your well-being, my well-being. That's why, I mean, it's a little bit tenuous, my connections, but that's why I feel the celebration is really important. When we had a concert the other night performed by my friend Omri and his friend Nina, it's like very, 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 very special. Everyone's up. Surely that must be affecting our society. Surely that must affect hearts and souls, And when we can connect that with a plate of local food or involve them in activities, workshops, surely this must be creating change in our society. Not everything is linear through, you learn this and then you learn that and you learn that. That's a very, I don't know. Yeah, that's a different type of knowledge. Fukuoka says people learn 9 things, they think they'll learn the 10th thing, and they'll think they'll learn 10 things. They end up learning nothing. Because that's not what learning is about, it's not a linear thing. So that's basically what we're trying to show. I'm going to show you now one other plot where we have created gardens. They're a module. And those modules are something that a few of us, we could start now, you know, if you wanted, like, and within an hour or two, the garden is complete. If you live outside, you know, if you you have a job as a teacher or something, maybe once a week or twice a week you work in your garden, and those modules are a solution. So let me show you those keys of pale fruit. As there are hundreds of varieties of tomato, there are many varieties. This is one variety. You can make a poultice with the leaves. It's good for ear problems. If you have an alcohol problem, stomach ulcer, this cures stomach ulcer. The fruit, it's very hard. You smash it on a piece of granite, damo, and then you scrape it out. You add lemon and jaggery. In the summer, it's the #1 drink to cool your body. You know, very, very special tree. Again, in Auroville, there are people who know this. There are people valuing it. But you can also find it lying on the ground. Like in Europe, you find apples lying on the ground, you know. So this is as much important to explain the value of this as it is this peepally. And I didn't finish with the peepally even. The leaves we eat in the salad as well. So chicken spinach leaves, peepally leaves, ivy gourd leaves, a bit of sweet potato leaves, some green papaya, a passion fruit salad dressing. You have such an exotic salad in the summer. There's no lettuce in there. You know, it's not about lettuce and tomatoes. You have an exotic salad just by these local things. So this is also beautiful, the bale fruit.